Namaste. Hope all of you are doing good. First of all, taking this opportunity to congratulate all our viewers on the historic occasion of the Pran Pratishtha done by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in Ayodhya on 22nd of January 2024. This is the day that will be forever etched in the memory, in the consciousness of our nation, and a great reconnect to our civilizational values. Jai Shri Ram. A close friend of mine shared an article published in the Fox News. The headline was, and I read, "Millions in India celebrate as new Hindu temple is built on ruins of historic mosque." By and large, this article was pretty negative and carried with it the same bias that one would normally associate when reading left-wing publications like the New York Times, the Guardian, Washington Post. It came as a big surprise to my friend, and I'm sure that many other people also would be shocked to know how is it possible that right-wing publication like the Fox News was on the same page like left-wing publications. Most of us dharmic Hindutva supporters are pretty familiar with the hatred of the global and Indian communist left and the wokes against anything remotely connected to Bharat and Hindu Dharma. This goes right back from the time of Karl Marx, the founder of communism, who had nothing but utter contempt and disdain towards Bharat and Hindu Dharma. In fact, in one of our earlier videos, we had done a video on Karl Marx's hatred towards India. Basically, the wokes who get the inspiration from the Frankfurt School of Communism are even one step ahead from the entrenched left in their hatred towards India. So much of it is already known. In fact, people like Rajiv Malhotra have done a very great service to the Hindu Samaj by covering the nexus between the communist left and wokes on one side, along with the Islamists, the so-called humanists, secularists, and also elements of the Catholic Church. So that is pretty much well known, and also their hatred and their all ways to try to demonize India in every single respect. That is pretty much known. However, what is less known, especially in Bharat, is that the right wing in the West can be equally critical and hateful of our culture. They are deeply wedded to Christian values, the Christian ethos, supporting evangelicals and Christian leaders who espouse their cause. A Donald Trump or a Bolsonaro will be supported by them, irrespective of their faults, because supposedly these people are those who actually can carry forward their values. When it comes to Christian versus Muslim issues, these right-wing publications will stand up to people like Viktor Orban of Hungary or Poland's earlier conservative rulers. So as far as, let's say, for example, Europe is concerned, we'll find that people like Orban are pro-Putin, and people like Poland's leaders are against Putin. But yet, these are immaterial to such right-wing publications, because for them, any leader who is supporting the Christian cause is someone that they will celebrate. So that is a very clear goal for them. But when it comes to India, Narendra Modi and BJP will be vilified by them and also their supporters. The reason is because when it comes to people like the BJP, RSS, or Narendra Modi, supposedly these people stand in the way of the conversion activities, the proselytizing activities of the evangelicals. That is the main reason why there is going to be a deep hatred towards towards people like Modi and BJP, because supposedly these are the people who are standing in their way. This is something that I've actually seen firsthand, as I used to be a very regular reader of magazines like Standpoint. Now, Standpoint it has stopped publishing a couple of years back, but at that time when it was publishing, it had labeled itself as one of the few genuine right-wing publications in the UK. What I found interesting was that, when it came to, certain stands about Christian versus Muslim, they would always take a very pro-Christian stand in every single respect. But when it came to issues regarding India, then was totally different story. So, well, you read the Standpoint, for example, and one would find their articles praising the glories of Pax Britannica. People like Zarir Masani, one of the most famous apologists and whitewashers of the British Empire, who would exonerate the colonial rule for all their sins. So reading his columns in the Standpoint in a way would not be so shocking, for the very simple fact that the Standpoint magazine was an unabashed admirer of people like Winston Churchill. And that's the reason why if anyone who has read Churchill and knows his views about Bharat, about Hindu Dharma, would not be so surprised that the magazine like Standpoint would carry forward opinion like would carry forward the views of people like Zarir Masani. But what really shocked me was the fact that when it came to India, when it came to a coverage about Narendra Modi, the same Standpoint magazine would have no hesitation in inviting ultra-secularist columnists like Sonia Sarkar to write about India, in which she would target Modi and claim that he was against Muslims or was targeting Muslims. Now that came as a very big surprise to me because, as I said before, when it came to Christian issues, when it was a Christian versus Muslim case, Standpoint magazine's stand was extremely clear. They were definitely pro-Christian in every single respect. So this is just one example. But if one reads other right-wing publications also, one can easily make out that when it came to their stand on illegal immigrants or even legal migrants come into Europe, they had a very strong stand that these migrants should not be allowed to come in because they would never be a part of the European culture. They would never be able to absorb in European values. And there was concerted campaign against them coming into Europe because they would not be able to integrate. That is fine. That's a sentiment which was shared by many people on the right in Europe. But the most surprising part is that many of these right-wing publications, while taking such a strong stand on migrants coming into Europe, were critical of our country's stand as far as Rohingyas were concerned. So they were upset that why is it that Narendra Modi doesn't allow Rohingyas and other illegal immigrants to come into India? So that was something which made it clear that their set of values as far as Muslims was concerned in Europe was completely different from how they perceived the situation elsewhere. The fact remains, one may call it hypocrisy, or one may call it a lack of understanding on our part. But the fact remains that Western right-wing values also do not align with the Hindu cause. Truth is, be it the left or be it the right, as far as contempt and disdainfulness is concerned towards Bharat, the left and right are pretty much united in their values, in their belief systems. For the leaders in the West engaging in our country, an emerging superpower, there is absolutely no choice. That's why we find that the leaders in the US, be it Biden or Trump, have had good relationships with our country, and the relationship with India has been pretty strong. But when it comes to academia or when it comes to media houses, the situation is completely different. And in the next video, we will try to see how the situation should be handled or how other countries have been able to handle this situation. Dhanyavad. Jai Shri Ram.